I'm Phil.
And I'm Angelina.
With our husky lightning and a lot of wildlife around us, we live in this fairy tale chateau in France.
We love bringing this neglected castle back to life inside.
And we've got the vast grounds and parkland to take care of as well.
We love the moat, but it brings some challenges with it.
But it's all worth it when we get to share it with everyone at our live music events.
Follow the ups and downs of our Chateau life.
Hello everybody, hope you're having a wonderful evening. It is glorious here. Now, Angelina got back from her UK trip late last night, so I spent the day with her and the dog, which is running around like a lunatic behind me. Now, if you didn't yet see our video about the hidden tunnels, there's a link coming up just up there, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, to watch the renovation updates, and of course staying tuned for when we excavate those tunnels that we found. Now, as you might know, or you don't know, depends if you're new to the channel, we have recently been on a UK TV show that was filmed last year, and now we get to show you behind the scenes of what went on to film that show. So here is what happens behind the scenes of filming a TV show.
In episode 26, you saw me restore this unloved, uncared for machine that I purchased as a decorative piece, which was pretty enough, but then I decided, hey, why not restore it? And decided to give it a go without ever having to do any of this stuff ever before. And I had to glue the table wood, and I had to oil it because it was seized and it was rusty, and I had to paint some areas, and I had to also replace a leather belt on this, and now it works and it's smooth, and I've even started to do some bunting here. So this is what I'm going to be doing and showing you on this episode. But before I get on to that, just wanted to say a huge thank you for all the coffees you guys purchased. That definitely helps, and supporting the channel, which is obviously a great pleasure for all, and we have a really nice community going. So let's get back to Buntings. The other thing I thought before we move on to the bunting, the fun part, is I'll tell you a little bit of the history about this machine and how old I think it is. Because once I was starting to research about the make and model, which I didn't really find, I've only got a serial number here. I needed to order, obviously, belt. I did find some information. Now, Neumann is a not so famous brand like Singer, for instance, or Pfaff in France is very famous. Neumann, I've never heard of it before, and turns out it's a German brand, so that's going to be well made, so that's good. And the serial number, there isn't a list of a serial magazine to tell you which year it was made, unlike Singer's, who are world famous. So I can only roughly gauge, based on other people inquiring and the answers that they got, that this machine was probably made between the 1920s to 1930s, something like that. And that would make it 90 to 100 years old. Can you believe that? This machine is incredible, and it really stands the test of time, and it performs so well, and it's definitely gonna outlive some more. So hey everybody, shall we make some bunting? I think so. Let's do this mammoth task. Now, I've got some fabric here, for example. I'll talk you through how I make it, and then, hey, you can go ahead and make whichever way you like. When I first was thinking of doing it, I actually bought one of these triangles, which is still sealed in its packaging, and realized it's too small, and also it's going to be too much of a faff going around each triangle, and it sounds silly. So anyways, but that gave me a rough idea of what size I wanted, which I wanted actually a lot bigger triangles, as you can see, in comparison. And so I dropped that idea pretty quickly. All you're really gonna need is some fabric and a ruler. And the fabric I went for, rather than purchasing, which is quite expensive, and especially in France, is I literally went to a second-hand shop. I went to the clothes section, i.e. bedding, and I basically picked out all the duvets that were there, all funky colors, and that's what I brought back. And that was the cheapest way, because some of them could have been double-sided colors duvet, so which means it gave me 2 extra colors to work with rather than just one. When you have your fabric ready and folded, just lay it flat down and count the width first and mark it at every width. So let's say this is 16 centimeters, 16, 16, 16. Then make a line of, let's say this is 25 centimeters, and make a straight line across. And again, count here 16, but obviously you need to leave space from this end. So that will be 8 because it's half of a 16th. So count 8 in, that will be the middle point of the end of your triangle, okay? And carry on counting 16, 16, 16. Pretty much after that, you can make straight lines with a ruler, and this in the fabric will make you the triangles and upside down triangles that you'll be able to cut with your scissors. Nice and simple, and this speeds up the whole process. I got scissors out and I cut it, and I highly recommend these zigzag scissors because they stop the fraying of the fabric. You see? So that's natural, whereas the straight one, see, I can literally pull fabric off it, and depends on the fabric, some of it could be fraying quite easily. So if you don't have those lying around, it's not a big deal. Honestly, bunting is about having fun, not perfection. Well, for me anyways. So once that was all cut, we started sewing onto these long big reels. These are 50 centimeters each, and I've got a lot of them, and I actually made quite a lot of bunting last year with some help of the volunteers on our last event party who were helping me to pin, and I was sewing, and that was pretty fast going. But now I'm alone, I kind of changed the technique, but it's still the same purpose. So let me show you our previously made batch, and this is nowhere near all of it. So I've got bags and bags of this, and this is the colors I started with. They were beautiful pastel colors. Look at them. They were absolutely stunning. Bags and bags of it. Some of this is Phil's shirt, actually, which he no longer wears. Look, there's a purple one. And it's beautiful, but what I did learn is that it was really unnoticeable once it was hanging up on our driveway. That long driveway up to our chateau was all zigzagging across, full of bunting, and you could sort of hardly see the difference in color, as beautiful as it was, because it's so sunny. The colors really loose. So what I've learned of that batch is that I needed to go back and get more fabric, because obviously we've done all our bunting, and we went for the most hideous colors possible, things that I would never have in my house, really. And actually that is the key secret. So my top tip is go for the most awful colors that you would never have, probably. I mean, it was this is kind of nice, but it's chintzy. This is probably kids bedding. Dark navy, full of flowers, this pink and purples, orange, which is okay, lovely green, to be honest, some yellow and stuff like that, and it keeps going on and on and on. So some of them are nice and some of them are quite horrid, I would never have in my house, but that's the key secret. Having the huge contrasting variety is really what you're after. So that's the cheapest way to do it, to be honest, to achieve the result, such as bunting on a budget with the stuff you've got lying around, pretty much. So let's get on with doing that. You can either then pin the triangles and keep pinning them the whole roll through and then start sewing, or skip this process and head straight to the sewing machine to avoid double the workload. It's a slow process, but at least it's a little bit of fun, and it's so satisfactory once it's all complete and you learn a new skill, so definitely worth a go. Once you're ready to sew and everything's cut up, I'm gonna share a little tip with you which I only thought of this year and has made my life tons easier. Get your ribbon roll and get a metal coat hanger, put it through the middle and bend it round, hook it somewhere. That will keep your ribbon straight without bending as it goes and unwinds itself from the ribbon. That makes it easier for you to sew all along. Otherwise, it just ends up twisting and twisting and twisting. Time to do some sewing, I think. I thought I'd show you how to wind the shuttle bobbin up. So basically it's this little piece inside here. You take it out, and I'd like to put the little thread through this little hole here. Let's do that. There we go. That's through. And then you have to place it inside this winding mechanism. Just waiting for it to clip in. There we go. That's nice and solid. So there. Now, I do this first because it's quite tricky to put it on. So then I have to put it between these tension discs. And then there's a little piggy tail. It's quite interesting. So it's top winding. And then I would put it onto here. Right, so that's all on. That's engaged. This is disengaged. See, it's not touching it. So I just push it up to engage it. And the way it will wind up will be the same method by this wheel. So let's begin that. Note how it goes sideways on its own. And it regulates its own tension that way. Hopefully it'll go to the end. See, it doesn't. So that's what I've noticed with this. I have to sort of help it along a little bit. If anyone has any idea why it doesn't go all the way to the end, please let me know. I know that some of the other machines have like a special arm that makes it go equally to the left and to the right. This one hasn't got that. I'm not sure if it's missing, but I can't see any examples of this type of machine, this brand Newman, of having the arm. There isn't many pictures, to be honest. They're all zingers, tend to be. So I don't know if I'm just simply missing that part, but it seemed to do the trick, to be honest, mostly. I'm just going to show you how far the thread is supposed to be winded on these, because I actually didn't make a mistake on the first go, and I overwound it. I put too much on, so I had to empty it. I'd say that's probably enough. I don't know, let's have a look. Yeah. I'd like to be on the safe side, but yeah, you see these rims, you don't want to be over them because you got to remember it's got to be inside and be free to unwind and not be caught out. So yeah, and then you simply drop that in there and you bring it all the way down and you bring it all the way up, and that's it. It's ready to go. And then you just drop it inside the bobbin case. So I'll show you that now as well. Isn't that cool design though? Look at that. It looks like a bullet. Okay, so let's load it up. This is the bit that holds the shuttle in. So we just simply drop it in like that. Ooh. And then close it. But this is the interesting part here. You see this part? If I do this, it lifts it. How cool is that? Anyways, little things. All done. Let's carry on. Here's the stash so far. I've got lots more to do.